Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your June forecast. It's really great to see you, and this is an exciting month. I always look forward to monthly forecasts, but in this particular midpoint of the year, there's a chance for you to hit a reset button if you'd like. Not only can you track on what you've been doing to see if you're kind of checking off all the lists and getting your goals accomplished, but you can also decide to redirect your energy. So as an intuitive, this is a really fun time to look and see how I can help each sign with that opportunity ahead. Now, just a reminder that you can always use these readings for your sun, your rising, as well as your moon sign. And if there's someone in your life that you care about and you'd like to help them out, you can check that reading on their behalf as well. If you don't happen to know all three parts of your chart, just don't worry about it. Stick with the sign that you're born under, and you should get all the information that you need by doing that. If you are a returning viewer, I would like to say thank you so much and welcome back. For anybody that's brand new, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and let me just quickly run through how I organize this reading so you're ready for that. I begin with a channeled message, and this is really something that I do just using raw intuition, and I'll get into that in just a moment. After that, I will use a full Celtic cross and see what the cards have to say about the month ahead. And then, because I like to let that be organic and kind of communicate or convey what it needs to, I make sure at the next point to expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. At the very end, I'll also leave you with a closing word, so please stick around. And one other thing that I'd like to say is that if you like what you see here today, at the very end, I'll also give some information on how you can give back to the channel. Everything you see here is viewer supported, so you can support in multiple ways, like booking an appointment, becoming a patron, and giving a one-time or a continuing contribution, or just liking me on social media. I'll go into great depth at the end on how you can do that and really how that helps. But for now, I know you want to get into the forecast, so without any additional delay, let's get into your channeled message. This month, as I was meditating over your cards, the overwhelming feeling that I got was change. The image in my mind that I saw was kind of like a lotus petal opening up. So going from one phase into another, from idea to execution, or from dream to development. And another thing that I kind of saw was the idea of maybe a moth or a butterfly coming into that form of metamorphosis. So for you, the channeled information and the message that I wrote when I was doing automatic writing was metamorphosis and transformation. But again, I also got the word or the image of blossoming, which could just simply be that you're finally ready to show what you've been working on. And it's a realization of a dream, or a revelation, or a revealing, or an unveiling. And so I think the overall energy this month is really exciting, and there's a little bit of a power on your side to decide if, how, and when you want to do this sort of reveal. So when we look at the cards in just a moment, I'll try to pay attention to any sort of signifiers as to when, or if there's any sort of challenges around the reveal. Also, if you're at a point in your life where you just want to go a little deeper into your spiritual growth, or this could even be something more traditional like wanting to go and get training or go back to school or finish up some training, or maybe go back to high school or college if you didn't have a chance to finish that. That's the other thing that I see. It's somehow an expansion and a development, and however you want to do that this month, the energy is right there for you, and it really came through strong when I was doing the meditation. So somehow get into that kind of flow of expansion, and I think it's going to take you to some exciting places this month. All right, it's time to look at the Celtic cross now. I'm going to give the cards a nice shuffle, and I like to remain quiet at this point so that I can bring additional information in as I look at the images and where they fall. So right after this, I'll pull each card up one by one, and we'll talk about how it is going to relate to you and the month ahead. Your catalyst card this month is beautiful and it has multiple meanings, so I want to kind of walk through what it could mean for each of you. The first thing that I see here is that for some of you, this reminds me a lot of maybe like the Three of Pentacles card, where you are working on something that you truly, truly love, and that passion is illustrated by this heart here. But there's something, again, that's been held back. And this reminds me of what I was seeing when I was channeling the visions for this month, which was some sort of a blossom that needs to come open. In Mother Nature, that blossoming that I'm talking about, it happens naturally. Sometimes there's a signal because of the length or shortening of a day, so how much sunlight it gets, how much water it receives, how old the plant is. The other thing is, and I think this is the piece that I want to tie here, is that it's a survival mechanism for many plants. If they're in stress or if they feel like they have to quickly reproduce because the mother or parent plant is no longer going to be there, then it blossoms so that it can continue. So for some of you, there's a little bit of a survival mechanism that's coming in, and instead of allowing things to open, some of you are contracting. I think this could be brought on by a couple of things. One is simply the fear of being rejected. And if you've spent a lot of time becoming something or developing something, of course, that's a natural sort of survival instinct. So just observe it and release, because we'll get to this in a second, but your center card is the Fool, which is all about taking a leap of faith or taking a risk. The other thing for some of you is that in addition to that feeling of, I don't know if I can share it, there's this disbelief. So if you've been working a long time, for instance, on a degree, maybe some of you have been working 2, 4, 6, 8 years, however long you've been kind of working to get the training that you need. Just because you walk a stage and get a diploma or have letters after your name all of a sudden, there has to be an integration internally for this metamorphosis and transformation to stick and truly kind of take hold. So give yourself time and just believe in yourself. You did the work. And when you start to trust yourself and occasionally ask questions, be vulnerable, people around you will love and trust and support you as well. It's not something that happens overnight, but I want you to just believe in yourself, and that's going to allow for that opening, that growth, and that transformation to happen. And one last thing is, I think it's important to share this month with somebody, either your struggles, your insecurities, or your ideas, so that you can start to gently open things up here. I think for many of you, just having that confirmation, especially if it's someone that's grounded and that you trust, if you hear that from them, that'll help you. The very last thing that I want to say before we look at the rest of the cross is the caption says master. And that shows me that many of you have mastered whatever it was you were trying to do. Again, the integration and the final realization is something that has to happen here. So give yourself time to do that, but hopefully this month you can make good strides in that area. Your central card is the Fool in reverse. The Fool card is always about taking a leap of faith. It's about moving forward, and for many of you, it could be about a brand new beginning. And with that, we actually have the Ace of Pentacles over top of this. This could be a new job, a new project, or something coming in with respect to money and resources that's going to change the way that you work, the way that you manage your life, and I think that this is exciting. With change, with risk, can always come a feeling of fear, but the really great element that comes through with Fool energy, the Fool card in particular, is that you can just kind of move forward without overthinking. What I like about a Fool card is that it reminds us, be present every day. Try to have fun and try to get back into your intuitive flow. It's no accident that the cards that follow it are about intuition and manifestation. So Fool, Magician, High Priestess. The Fool is the opening up point. If you can't let go, which is really what a Fool is doing, then you can't get into the creative energy, the power that you have, the connection to the divine, the creativity. So this month you have to find ways to simply have fun, release, let go, and know that that kind of playtime, if you will, which we do as kids but not so much as adults, it will actually allow for greater productivity, greater creativity, and you're going to go much further when it comes to ideas too. So if you're stuck and you're trying to find a way out of a situation, it could be a way out of a sticky financial problem that you have. If you kind of flex your mind a little bit and think of alternative ways to solve it, rather than thinking rigidly like this is the only way, or this won't work, or people will think I'm crazy if I try this. Then you're going to come up with some solutions. At work, and also I would say in school, you might be able to surprise people by your creativity too. So if you have an assignment, you might interpret it differently and come with a fresh approach. And so that's really what's important. Think outside of the box, take risks, be bold, be yourself, have fun. All of those things are going to be really important and make you feel better too. As we look at the deep past, we have the Seven of Wands in reverse here. Now, this is a great card for being able to multitask, manage a lot of things, and the reversal of this is saying that you might be doing so much of this that it would be timely or appropriate to delegate. And so this is saying let go of some of the things that are on your plate, ask for help, or directly give it to someone and say, please do this if you're in a position of authority. And so whether this is you managing the household and you need help with chores, or if it's you at a job and you've got like 15 things on your to-do list, it's now time for you to share the duties with everybody. You don't have to do it all. And in fact, what happens sometimes when this card shows up is there's a little bit of I would say a lesson from the past, that when you persistently or consistently sort of take on too much, you deny others the opportunity to show up, to grow, and to become the person that they need to. And you also hold yourself back from being able to put that energy into things that develop you. And that's one of the things this month that you don't want to do anymore. No more contracting. It's all about expansion. Sometimes for expansion, you have to release. And the Seven of Wands in reverse is saying to release. The other thing that card can indicate is that this is really important this month to not take things personally. And so you could pick and choose what you want to defend yourself on. Of course, if there's a legal matter or a matter of someone just saying something that's not true, this might be a time to step forward, and that would be what you want to kind of pick as your battle. But otherwise, there's never a way to kind of have everybody agree with everything. So when you understand that good leaders, just by definition of doing their job, may have people that complain or don't understand what's going on, you'll do your best to lead, but then at a certain point, you're going to have to move forward and realize that that's where the energy needs to go, not in kind of trying to take every single comment to heart, because that can pull you down, that can weight you down, and it can take you away from where you're supposed to be going this month, which is metamorphosis, transformation, development, and expansion. In the recent past, we have Temperance reversed. For many of you, this could be presenting itself around the first week of the month, and it's really asking you to start to bring some balance in your work and life, or your resources and your relationships. And as we look further in the spread, you'll see there's a Two of Pentacles and Two of Cups, both reversed, and they're really kind of calling to me now as I'm looking. So I think for many of you, that's where the imbalance exists, and whether you want to make more time so that you can develop relationships, or you have existing ones and they're kind of pulling at you, or the same thing is true of work. Maybe you're looking for work, or work is asking too much. You're going to have to find a way to bring both of these things into some sort of balance so that you can bring your attention to other things that are more deserving of your energy. For many of you, it's about kind of like planning and integrating and thinking about what to do next. If you're constantly kind of ping-ponging between two places and you never have time to rest, then you never move out of that. You're always kind of trying to play catch up. So the way to do this is being given here in your crowning card. You have the Page of Swords, and it's reversed for a reason. The reversal means direct communications. So if something needs to stop, it can just be brought about by saying the word no, I can't do it, or I don't agree with this, or I don't want to do this. However you're going to convey this, there has to be a critical element. Or if somebody's doing something that's wrong, you could simply state, this goes against the procedure, or whatever it is. Now, the reversal of this means that you'll want to choose words carefully. And also, if you're on the receiving end of criticism, you'll want to check your own sort of emotional triggers and look at it and think, is this coming here as a blessing? Will it help me do something better? Did I need to hear this anyway? If that's the case, then rather than getting upset, think of how you can try to solve this. If there is something that kind of is truly not right or not fair. I mentioned earlier, pick and choose your battles. This could be one where you decide to do that, and you might want to get a lawyer involved, because whenever I see swords and it's a court card, it might make sense to pass it through a legal representative to make sure that what you are feeling or believing is wrong actually is. So a lot of care has to be taken in communication, but there's great power in it as well, especially saying no, or this isn't right, or don't do this. Because people aren't used to hearing that. They aren't used to sometimes having that direct communication. So if it's done sparingly, effectively, and directly in a way that is, again, not sort of cutting someone in an emotional way, just saying, this is what should be done, this is the procedure, you're not doing that, then there's no way that they can react to it. It's simply stating a fact. So as long as you stick with facts and maybe get what you're going to say or do checked out by someone else, I think you'll be okay. We have a really exciting card here in the near future, and I know up until now there's been a lot of work, but it changes as I'm looking at this. We have the Seven of Cups. This is the expansion that I was feeling and seeing when I was doing the channeled reading, or the channeled information rather. The Seven of Cups is a point in your life where you have the ability to really be inspired and daydream. I don't want you to limit yourself this month, at least around the midpoint, looking at weeks 2 or 3. What you're going to be probably feeling is, for some of you, before you go to bed, you might have all these ideas kind of swimming in your head, or while you're walking the dog or taking a shower or whatever. I need you to find time, either maybe while you're walking, you can use the dictation feature on most phones where you can record it as a voice memo, or if you can just tap things into your phone or your smart device, an iPad, etc., or just spend some time each morning and write it out or type it out. As these ideas come to you, just put them on paper or put them digitally somewhere where you can look at them later, because I feel like what's happening is this channel of information is opening up for you. And the worst thing you could do is either ignore it or overthink it. And so you want to practice your automatic channeling, writing, or speaking this month so you can get it all out. And then once you have time to look at this, you're going to see a tapestry or some sort of a design where you'll understand what you need to focus on. So really take time this month and explore in that expansive area. And once you've done that, I see some really cool things coming through. For some of you, there's something here that could lead to a really sustainable career. We have the Nine of Pentacles, or an idea that could be patented and purchased and distributed. For the rest of you, it just might be something where you get a sense of really feeling good because you were able to create or develop or think of something. So what I talked about earlier, I just want to review it really quickly. Letting go of something in your life so that you make room, finding the balance between your job and your personal life, having a direct communication, saying no or cutting out something that doesn't need to be there. All of this stuff is going to help you connect with that central card, the one that was crossing the central card, the Ace of Pentacles. This is going to give you a sense of being grounded, having ideas, being able to take that idea and possibly monetize it. And there's a lot of directions in which you could take this. So really focus your energy on getting rid of all of that other stuff that was holding you back, the fear of kind of like contracting in, and now think, okay, I'm going to let it all out, all of the brainstorming, all the ideas, all the energy, and then I'm going to open up and allow for more to happen. And then I see sustainability and an opening when it comes to your resources, more time, more energy, more money. The only thing that could present some challenges this month is your emotional ability to kind of deal with the highs and lows. We have a Nine of Cups, which generally speaking is a good card. If I'm looking at someone and just trying to understand how they function with stress, with life, etc., Nine of Cups shows me someone who really tries to find the positive aspects of life, has a sunny disposition, and tries to make everything work out. The reversal of it, however, can show someone who can get thrown off by, we talked about like that criticism that could be coming through. It's in the crowning position. So if an email comes through or a comment is made by somebody and it just sort of, it has a way of kind of getting into your head and you keep hearing it. One of the challenges this month for you is going to be just to release those sorts of things, because you realize that negativity, or negative people, I should say, they really only have power or dominion over your thoughts, your mind, and your life if you allow them to have that. This month, you're not going to do that. You see the Nine of Cups in reverse. You're going to release pain, release frustration, and critical thoughts, and instead allow the positive energy to kind of collect. This is the upright card. This is where the energy of thoughts and assimilation should go. Nine of Cups is reverse, which means let go of sadness, let go of pain, and don't stay sort of stuck in that area too long. You never want to not allow for a processing of grief, of anger, of frustration, because you know how the law of attraction will work. If you think you don't want to deal with it, or if you try to push it away, it's going to come back anyway. So if you're feeling any of those thoughts, this is when you need to reach out and talk to somebody. And also, in many cases, when you need to have the confrontation, the heart to heart, and just let somebody know what's on your mind and diffuse that. And a lot of times it's the simple acknowledgement that something has to change that will make you feel better. And then it takes the power away from this sort of nebulous thing that you're afraid of dealing with. So once you take back ownership and power over that, things will start to feel a lot better for you. The other thing with the Nine of Cups, and I think this can be solved with the Fool energy at the beginning here, is movement. One thing that's really great with the Fool is it typically spends a lot of time outside, and you need a change of environment. So if something is pulling you into a sort of a tailspin, I want you to try working, studying, or even living temporarily in a different space and see if that doesn't help. Taking a break, a holiday, a vacation, some sort of just a temporary displacement from your current position, that's going to be so important for you, so that you can kind of just get out of the energy of whatever's around you. A final message for the Nine of Cups, you'll notice that this one is in a bar. A lot of times you see a lot of food around the person. The message is to practice moderation. Take a look at your environment. This could be your home, it could be your kitchen, it could be the office at work. It could also be the people with whom you hang out after work or on the weekends. If they are engaged in activities that are triggers for you to go into an extreme, whether it's over drinking, overeating, partying too much, or maybe there's people around you that are really negative. If any of these things exist, you want to pull back from this. This is the balance that I was seeing with temperance. And this will help you stay centered. You need to have a lot of clarity of thought this month so that you can allow all of the creative elements that want to come through, so you can focus on being productive, so that you can really start to make money and start to think about what the future holds for you. You need to stay grounded this month. So this isn't the month to party, but it is the month to kind of take breaks and separate yourself from some of those people. The Fool would be much better for like a hike or a walk or meditation. I want you to avoid excess if you can. Moderation is fine, an occasional night out, no problem, but you have to really keep this under control this month, because there is a little red flag there saying you could get pulled into other people's habits, and that's going to take you off this otherwise productive and transformative month that's coming through. When I'm looking at hopes, fears, desired action, we have a Two of Cups card. The card was reversed, which means that there may be relationships in your life that need your attention this month. This can be the whole gamut, from a love relationship to a coworker to a boss to maybe an older relative. Whatever you haven't been putting enough energy into, try to find the balance, and vice versa. It's connected to the Nine of Cups here. I would say if somebody is asking for too much, this is where you can kind of pull on the brakes and say, I need some time, and I need you to help me as well. And you can start to try to create better boundaries, better limits. This will help you ultimately with what I'm reading as a resource card here at the end, the Two of Pentacles. Your time and your energy mostly is what this is talking about. So if you can bring either like the relationships, the habits in your environment, and ultimately your time constraints this month into a better sort of control, and this is all up to you and your direct communication, then what I see as your kind of ability this month is to really focus on work and coming up with really, really great ideas. And this is going to put you in a great position for the next 2 or 3 months ahead. So there is work that you have to do this month. Sometimes there's a lot of, fun information. I would say this month for you, I'm trying to deliver some constructive areas where I think that if you focus on these things, you're going to feel so much better, because 9 of Pentacles and 7 of Cups, these are good things. Great ideas for the future, a lot of money or productivity, and for some of you, maybe a new job or something that you can share with the world. I want you to be able to redirect the energy into those places. We're going to expand the forecast now and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll begin with health. This is your mind, your body, and your spirit. As we look at health, we have a reversed release card, which means that you really want to give yourself ample time to let go of things, to process things, and that was something that I did talk about earlier. The illustration on this one is clearly about, for some of you, a feeling of tangible loss. It could be a loss of a loved one, someone who has transitioned and passed on. For some of you, this could also represent more of a material loss, the loss of a house, a car, or money. And I saw the 2 of Pentacles there in the distance, so some of you might be trying to make sense of that or trying to work out the finances. I think for many of you, though, it's simply trying to heal your heart space a little bit here, and you might need to work through some sadness. We have the 9 of Cups in reverse in the environment. That trigger that's going on could be one of these things. Like I said, loss of a parent or a pet or some sort of property. So reach out for help if that's something that you are going through. But notice in the background there's a sun break. You can see it coming through here. There is hope. There is something on the horizon this month that can turn things around. I think for some of you, it could be an unexpected source of money, support, or employment or help, because we have that Ace of Pentacles right in the center. And we do have a Fool card, which can show transition or a lack of a sort of a traditional living environment. So for some of you, it might be a chance of moving on and moving into something new. This release can also just be about letting go of the past. So even if things are good, you don't have a property loss, for instance, or a loss of an individual in your life, but you have to move. You could be moving away from a family home, or you could be moving away from a job where you've worked for like 15 years. And that loss or that move feels like it is some sort of you're going to go through a mourning in your heart and in your mind. So heal your heart space this month and take care of it. The message in health is very much an emotional one, and making sure that you can get that part of your life healed and taken care of so that you can be there for others. That's going to be the most important thing. Let's move along now and take a look at wealth. Wealth isn't just money. It's about self-worth. It's about the opportunities that come in your life and how you're reacting to those and either pulling them in or pushing them away. In your wealth sector this month, the message is about healing and transformation here. We have the violet flame energy, which typically you would associate with removing blocks in your body, but it absolutely can go into removing blocks in any part of your life. And violet flame energy is usually something that you can connect to by accessing the Ascended Master Saint Germain or calling him in and saying, please help facilitate the violet flame, bring it into this part of my life or this part of my body. Now, when I've brought it into my own body, what I felt is not only sort of an energetic cleansing, but even sometimes it goes into a physical or like on the cellular level, it's changing things. Now with wealth, I think that what you could try to do is emotional blocks or energetic blocks that you're holding on to or that are somehow imprinted on your etheric or sort of light body. And you could ask for the violet flame to go in and clear it. For some of you, this could be self-confidence, thinking I can't do it, or money never comes to me, or people don't like me, or whatever the sort of negative critical thoughts are. That's the Page of Swords here. It's that tape that's playing in your head. Ask the violet flame to go in and reprogram those thoughts, those words, and the energy surrounding them. And then because we saw your catalyst card really centering on the heart space, I would also advise you asking the violet flame to go into that energy of the heart space and to start to unlock it, to open it up, to bring in a sense of I can, I will, I am. And this is what's really important when it comes to your money moving forward. The past is the past. The choices that you made, the experiences that you went through, you called them in to learn from. And everything, even the unpleasant stuff, came through and made you stronger. I won't say it was a blessing, because sometimes we go through pain in our life and it's hard to see it as that, but it definitely made you stronger. And you may one day be able to look back and think, I'm glad that that happened. But today, at least sort of acknowledge that because of the aggregate experiences in your lives, the highs, the lows, the jobs that you got, the jobs that you left, any sort of layoffs, firings, and any sort of breakups in your life, but this is wealth, so we're looking at some of those things with money. Any of those things that went on in your life that affected your overall self-worth, they brought you to who you are today. They brought you to this video right now, and starting today, the healing begins. That's all you have to kind of believe and welcome in, and just feel it start to melt away. Practice a violet flame meditation. You can look it up on YouTube. I think I have an old video, but there's also some great resources online. And call in Saint Germain, ask for the healing, direct it in the heart, then ask it, I think, also to go into the mind and reprogram the sort of thought energy, and see if you don't notice some changes over the course of this month and the rest of this year. Let's expand the forecast now, and we're going to look at love and see what's coming through for all kinds of relationships in your life, not just romantic. Love is a currency, a universal currency, and this card will show us how to spend it. As we look at your love message this month, we have the Stormfields card. It's in reverse. And what this is saying is that there is an avoidable pitfall or storm or situation, an argument, if you will, that's on the horizon. I think that the key thing to look at this month is to not let emotions get in the way, Nine of Cups reversed, to really look at financial situations which may actually be the root of some of those problems, and to try to find a common ground between you and the other person, knowing that whatever you two are communicating, we have the Page of Swords in reverse. What can happen sometimes when both of you are giving critical notes is that all you're hearing is negative. So try to start in a place where you can agree on the common goal. You can start with some praise, and then you can admit areas where you could both improve, and then you could ask that person for that. So just try to take a step back. And if necessary, if there is someone volatile in your life, it's not accidental that this came through as a storm. You're going to know who I'm talking about. You're going to know how to avoid it. And my advice would be to redirect your energy away from that, to avert it. You're not going to be a storm chaser. You're going to get to safe ground, to higher ground. And that higher energy is really what you want to be focusing on. It's all about balance this month. You need to find it even amidst that sort of challenging emotional energy. I think there can be healing, and I think for some of you, it could just be forgiveness for yourself and for others, and releasing the hold that that person or even you have on that person and moving forward. Let's go ahead now and take a look at destiny and see if there's any messages about the trajectory that you're on, or maybe a suggested bypass. Your message in destiny is the Miriam. It says, sacred vision, choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. And these twin angels here are really trying to show you that whatever's existing in your life right now, it's something that you have called in to mirror or echo something. This reminds me of some spiritual advice that I received from a teacher at a time when I wasn't really ready to hear it, but I really appreciate it as it sat with me for a while and I realized the truth in it. The message she gave me was that at the time I had a person in my life that was constantly causing trouble, really existed within shadow energy and used it in every part of their life. But the person was there because I had some work to do on myself. I needed to integrate, I needed to be more honest, I needed to forgive, I needed to let go of some anger that I had. And because I had these sort of internal issues that needed to be cleared, cleansed, and released, an external source came through that embodied them. The person themselves, there's nothing wrong with them. In fact, they probably came in as a teacher and a healer, and I recognize that so many years later. But at the time, it didn't feel like that, and I realized that once I started to do the work on myself, the person went away, the problem started to heal, and I no longer was feeling a connection or an anger or a trigger from that person. And I think that's the message for many of you this month is internal healing is a requisite for success because it will in turn allow you to attract higher frequency opportunities. It will allow you to let go and in fact even avert things like a storm or that sort of dark energy. And this is the big healing. This is the big opportunity. For many of you, this is the big transformation. You have to look at parts of yourself that you're not proud of, that you would sweep under a rug, and look at them instead as a blessing. They came into your life to teach you, and you wanted to grow from them. Once you've learned that that was a life lesson, a love lesson, a lesson from God and the universe, you can then integrate it, release it, and all of a sudden you're going to meet ascended partners and friends and coworkers that have already discovered that lesson too. You're going to see fewer and fewer activities and people and experiences that trigger or teach you, and you're going to have more that allow you to move up, to move on, and to be successful. Like attracts like, and when we see something that we both love or don't love that's in front of us, we have to take some level of accountability. And once we own that, then we realize, just like Neo in the Matrix, we can affect the outcome. We can see what's happening. And that's the exciting part. All right, let's go ahead now and quickly review everything that we talked about, and then I'll leave you with a closing message. The channeled information this month was all about metamorphosis and transformation. We really just hit upon the major area of healing that you can do this month, and I really think that that's where the transformation can exist. But once you've done that, it opens up all kinds of abundance in your life, which is amazing. We see an echo of what I just mentioned here with the Master card, showing that you've really gotten to a place where you should be able to move onward and upward. But for some of you, you're holding yourself back, either through pain, through self-doubt, through not fully integrating and trusting yourself. Know that you are okay. It's all right to move forward. And in doing so, you're going to avoid some of what we saw here in the expanded forecast. The central card, in fact, is saying it's the right time to take a risk, to take a chance. In doing so, there could be financial gains or also just a great feeling within. It's going to open up new ideas, and that's something we saw quite a bit here with the Seven of Cups. In order to have this leap of faith, this great idea, and the brainstorming that we see here, you have to learn to let go of things, to delegate, and to pick and choose battles that really matter. Let the other stuff go, and find work and life balance here, because we see that with Temperance reversed. Be as direct as possible, but also, as I said, don't be unnecessarily critical. Always be constructive in that criticism. And the same is true when you put that lens towards yourself. We talked about really this ability now to see all these different things, to be a channel. Make sure that you pull this into some sort of record. Make sure that you're either recording it on your phone, tapping it into your iPad, typing it out, or writing it on paper. There's some great ideas that are going to come through, and we saw two really great resource cards here, the Ace of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. The only thing that's holding you back is your time and your energy. Avoid any sort of potential emotional highs or lows that could pull you off this path. Avoid any triggers in your environment as well. This could be people that you're hanging out with. Basically, with the Nine of Cups, the main thing that you want to focus on is moderation. The last two cards here, both in your hopes and fears and also your outcome, we have Two of Cups, Two of Pentacles, going again back to the work-life balance, knowing that you shouldn't be giving too much energy to someone. Reciprocity is a big piece of this Two of Cups as well. So find balance over everything so that you can really put the energy into having new ideas, being productive, and basically setting yourself up in the future for the sense of independence and sustainability. When we looked at the expanded forecast, obviously there's some stuff that needs to be released emotionally this month. We talked about the power of letting it go, and once you do this, then you start to call in others who have done the same sort of work. For wealth, the message was to forgive and to really focus on how to set into motion a better future. healing across the board, but this is more about being proactive, letting go again of the past and focusing more on the future. With looking at your love relationships this month, we have the storm fields. As we learned later with the Destiny card, that could simply be something that you're calling in because you have a lesson to learn. The storm, like the sort of duality that we see here in the Miriam, both of these cards are reversed. So you may not be paying attention to it. You may not be realizing the power that you have here. Remember, the very first thing that we saw with the catalyst was you have control, but you have to own it. And if you do that this month, then I think that you can start to feel a very positive shift in your energy. And this was the metamorphosis and the transformation that I was picking up on way back in the beginning when I was channeling information for you. So this brings your monthly reading to a close, but I hope that you got what was necessary for you to kind of navigate the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens for the month ahead. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about something that we covered today, or if there's another question that's going on in your life and you would just like some guidance, then feel free to check my rates and availability on my website and see if you'd like to book an appointment. You can click on the first card in the video or the first link below it, and that will allow you to go to my booking site. And if everything makes sense, then go ahead and book it, and I look forward to chatting with you. If you simply enjoyed what you saw here today and you would just like to say thank you, there is a way that you can become a patron on my website. And what that means is basically giving a one-time contribution, or if it's something that you really want to get behind, you can do an ongoing contribution. And this allows me to set up the time, the resources, also gives me the production equipment that I need to make this all possible. So to give me a hand, if you'd like to, you can click on the second card in the second link, and you'll go to my website after clicking on that, and then there's a lot of options. Again, it can be one time or continuing. The biggest help that this really allows for me is to set time aside on my calendar, because the videos take a total of 12 days, 1 day per video for the production, and then I usually take another day to get everything together and send it out on social media. So it's a decent amount of time, and the more contributions that I get in a given month, the sooner I can get them out, and I know that that's something that you appreciate. So if you've done it before, thank you. You made today's video possible, and if you'd like to help with the next round, then click that second card or second link, and your contribution will go a long way. The third way that you can support the channel involves very little effort. All you have to do is click like and subscribe on the video. And then also, if you'd like to kind of be an ambassador, you can click on the third card in the third link, and this will allow you to connect with me across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as my newsletter. And then you can also share my video posts, or if you're on Facebook, you can share my post on Facebook on your feed, and this allows other people to find what I post here. It's a great free resource. My goal on the planet is to raise consciousness and to help people. So when you do that, you help me help others. So thank you in advance for doing that. And I think it's a great time now to wrap up and leave you with a closing message. I'm looking again at this metamorphosis and the transformation card, and going back to that image of the flower that opens up. I think that this is a really important month for release, and your central cards were the Fool reversed and then an Ace of Pentacles. If you can let go, there's so much that wants to come through, so much abundance, so much wealth, so much opportunity. And I think the important thing for you is to realize that who you are, what you're going through, everything that sort of comprises you, it's something that is worth something to the world. Don't hold back. Share. Allow your heart to be free. Allow your passion to be shared with others. And know that this is going to call in the highest, the brightest, and the most fulfilling opportunities, perhaps even surpassing your expectations. I wish you so much love and light, and an abundance of healing this month. I think that's the major message that came through, was to heal your past, your finances, your relationships, and to just be honest and be out there in the light, so that there's no more holding back, okay? Take care of yourselves. I'll see you again soon in 1 month's time. Until then, be well and be kind.